It's not until recently that we have been seeing the category Best Indie Game shine in the Video Games Awards show. And that is only a proof that this genre of games is finally having the big impact it deserves on the gaming industry. Independent developers from all over the world have been teaching us that you don't have to be a world-class studio with a bunch of millionaire investors and a huge team to create a good game. Sometimes, all it takes is an idea and the dedication to this idea in order to compete, even on a small level, with these top AAA studios. The real beauty of indie games resides in the freedom it offers when it comes to development, meaning that without any real investors behind your back, you're free to take any type of risk that you want. Yes, you might lose your time and your own money, but this is nowhere near as stressful as big companies spending hundreds of millions of dollars with nerve-wracking deadlines and big expectations along the way. Just a while ago, one of the most beloved companies such as CD Projekt Red almost fell to the ground and broke due to the very high expectations their latest project Cyberpunk had, but unfortunately didn't meet the hype. With that being said, as an independent developer, you'll have to choose your resources very effectively. Otherwise, you'll be met with failure at the end of the road. And one of the most important materials that you have to pick wisely is the gaming engine that you're going to develop your game on. Needless to say that you're going to build all of your projects on this engine. So you really don't want to mess around with that. Usually, as an indie developer, you won't build your own gaming engine, as this task is particular, requires a lot of personnel and a lot of time to finish. That's why most indie developers tend to build their games on already existing engines. And since you're on a low budget, choosing a free engine as well is probably your best option. Not to mention that there is a bunch of really powerful free gaming engines out there, such as Unity, Godot, Armory, and of course Unreal Engine. We are seeing a lot of people lately switching from many different gaming engines to Unreal Engine, especially indie games developers. First of all, Unreal Engine is easy to establish and start working on. When you open the engine for the first time, by choosing the third-person template, you will find that you're immediately playing a game with a character who has the ability to jump, walk, has physics, and all sort of stuff that makes you feel welcome to the engine. Of course, that game is very basic, has no story and no ending, but the fact that you can walk around inside the level, edit it, play around with its different elements is really engaging for someone who has just opened the engine for the first time, trying to develop his own game. So, with a few tweaks here and there, you can use the default character to start actually testing your game, without having to create a new character from the get-go. Not to mention that the editor in Unreal is so practical when you start to block out your scenes. And on top of that, the Megascans library has been directly integrated into UE5. All you have to do is to open the Quixel Bridge plugin, choose one of the 16,000 free assets and surfaces, place them inside the editor, and you're good to go. One of the most important things that indie developers will love about Unreal Engine is the commitment to the community. Almost every week, the developers at Epic Games run a live broadcast where they discuss all the new features and updates regarding their engine. They're very useful and extremely engaging. Each week, there is 3 community spotlights, screenshots from their forums. Sometimes they conduct interesting interviews with people using the engine, including indie developers. This way, you will have the chance to see other people's projects and understand the real power of the engine. On top of that, every now and then, you'll find amazing discounts on the Unreal Marketplace with thousands of assets that you can purchase and integrate them in any way you want to in your game. There's just a good overall feeling surrounding the community of Unreal Engine. Always new stuff and updates keeping you in love with the software, and never too lazy to learn more about it. As an indie developer, you would want to see all the possibilities that the engine might offer you before you actually start using it. In another word, you just want to see how far you can go with that engine. After all, if your game turns out to be a big success, you will try to build even a better game for your next project. And this is why Unreal Engine beats all the other engines out there. All you have to do is type "games made with Unreal Engine" in Google, and boom, tens of world-class successful games will pop up. Batman Arkham series, BioShock, Gears of War series, Mass Effect series, Fortnite, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Not to mention all the new upcoming titles that are using Unreal Engine 5 such as Black Myth, Mafia 4, and The Witcher 4. Seeing all of these titles will open up your imagination and take your dreams above the sky, where you can actually fantasize to make a game that could be of the same quality as the ones mentioned above. Eventually, if you use engines other than Unreal, you will be using dozens of plugins and writing a lot of features to do things you'll create in seconds, like some sort of magic in Unreal Engine. Sometimes you will have to cooperate with the actual programmer to build an actual database tool, even of some features that we take for granted in Unreal, like placing foliage on landscape, and that is worth months of hard work that you could be putting into your game. With the blueprint system that Unreal presents, you will rarely need any new plugin or coding, unless you're working on something really new that has not been included in most third-person and FPS genres. You will just feel that the engine gives you this freedom to focus more on the art side of your game other than programming. You don't have to worry about memorizing any syntax or misspelling any variables, which is very beneficial for an indie developer. Overall, we can say that the Unreal Engine, with its very powerful blueprint system, is the best solution for artists and designers to start seeing their projects come to life fast and smoothly. Even though it's hard not to recommend Unreal Engine to every new indie game developer, there's obviously some drawbacks that Epic Games needs to put more time into. For example, making a 2D game is not as easy as making a 3D game in Unreal. The engine is obviously lacking a lot in that department, and that is, as we stated earlier, due to the heavy focus that the engine gives to the 3D genre. So making a 2D game requires more work and research before you start seeing a good result of your craft. Something else that we have to talk about is all the competition that is going on right now between the Unreal Engine developers. Since a lot of indie developers and game makers switched over to Unreal, you'll have a tough time proving yourself and promoting your game, because it will be directly compared to other projects using Unreal Engine. And that could be very frustrating, as you need to spend a lot of time getting the best out of your engine to really match the quality that other people have perfected out there. Besides, Unreal is still very poor when it comes to modeling tools, so you'll have to use other software for that matter, such as ZBrush, 3ds Max, or Blender. Finally, we should note that having one complete and perfect engine to make any genre of video games is a little bit unrealistic. And having Unreal Engine to be at the top of the pyramid when it comes to the 3D genre of games is actually an amazing achievement that every indie artist should actually celebrate. Because after all, this will help developers to accomplish the most important task of all: make better games come to life.